Agent Shadow. E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to the Wave Ocean. Head to the Wave Ocean? Agent Shadow. E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to Wave Ocean immediately. I do like how the guy puts emphasis on wave to showcase that he got it wrong. Alright, it's now Shadow's turn to go through Wave Ocean, which is considerably different from what Sonic, Tails, and Blade have to go through. Do be careful of these things, by the way. I have to say, avoiding all of this is very hard to do in very hard mode, which makes sense. If the music is anything to go by, we are in Sonic's max speed section. We're going through it the other way. In very hard mode, we make our way through this section of the level, and then we get off the glider, and then make our way back through this section of the level. I don't know why. It's certainly much shorter than the regular and hard mode versions of the stage. Again, it's like very hard mode isn't really very hard for Shadow's version of Wave Ocean. Although this hang glider section is much, much harder. It's so easy to die in it. Hey, you know that ramp is still there. You can actually get quite a lot of points here. But do be careful of the falling debris. Every single time you hit one of these things, one of them will break. But I think some of them will break anyway. I'm trying to steer this thing, but it's not letting me do so properly. It seems it's limited in how high it can go. See, nearly 9,000 points in just that first section alone. This is another stage where you can quite easily get an S rank off enemy score alone. Unfortunately, this being Shadow's penultimate level, as well as his last level after this, Dusty Desert, as with Silver, as with Sonic, this is also where the levels start to get quite lengthy. You know, we spent 10 minutes, well, it should have been 10 minutes in Kingdom Valley, of which I did get the S rank off screen. And we spent about 10 minutes in Aquatic Base. Now the levels do start to get quite long. There is a way you can skip this level, however, and it all involves who we are playing as now. And no, I'm not going to skip the level right now. Maybe later. I do plan on creating an extra video that showcases some of the extra things you can do. I won't be showing everything. Some of them will require creating a new profile. This isn't one of those games where you can have multiple save slots. That seems to have been abandoned by a lot of games nowadays. I don't know why Omega didn't grind on this thing immediately. So, Omega has a jetpack. It doesn't really work very well. As you can see, he still falls pretty quickly when you hold down the button. However, he falls much slower if you just keep mashing the button. If you can get in the right spot on a wall, it is very much possible. I can't tell is he dead or is he... Never mind. And it is very much possible to actually go upwards when you're doing this. And you can cover such great distances like that, so you can go upwards. You can cover such great distances by doing this. Also, Omega's faster than Sonic. Yes, believe it or not. You still have to put up with all of the noises, the robotic noises Omega makes. That was weird. And he has... Remember all of the awesome combat he can do in Sonic Heroes? Well, we'll get all of that out of your head now. This isn't Sonic Heroes. So get all of that out of your head right now. Because Omega doesn't have any of that sort of combat. He has a little pea shooter. If you're standing still, I can't really show it off when there's no enemies around, but if you stand still, he can fire his gun, which really only works on enemies that are located right in front of him. Holding down the button can fire this little pea shooter, which homes in on some enemies, but doesn't necessarily always damage them. The most effective of Omega's means of firing is by jumping, because although it doesn't really have so much in the way of homing properties, there is some, but not much. It can deal quite a good amount of damage. So if you're gonna aim your gun at enemies, then jumping and then using your attack is your best way. Unless you're dealing with takers, then I recommend the pea shooter, because it does have better homing. Sometimes it has better homing. How do I stun these guys as Omega? I can hear the sound. I somehow stunned them as Omega. I didn't even think you could do that. Another thing I don't like about Omega in this game is the voice. You know, if you listen in a Sonic Mega Collection, they released some of the work in progress videos for Team Dark's opening movie, and you get to hear Johnson John voicing Omega, and it's just his normal voice. They haven't made anything electrical on it yet, anything robotic or anything like that. It's just his normal voice. They did the same thing in Shadow the Hedgehog, I'm pretty sure. But in this game, you know, it's somebody trying to sound robotic, and I don't like that. I'm not sure if it immediately goes... Yeah, it immediately goes to Shadow. But you somewhat saw me go up the wall a little bit. That's what happens. You can have Omega go up the walls by continually pressing the button. It does a number on your thumb, I will say that, but Omega can go right up the walls, and you can take all sorts of fancy shortcuts where you can actually end up in this section of the level right here, which is an area exclusive to Shadow, and you even get Shadow's voice clips. Which, you know, it's not the only area you can do that. Clip you through the walls, you can do it in Flame Corp and Knuckles and Rouge. You can hear Sonic and Shadow's voice clips. And it's the only way, because Omega will still go into his victory animation if he touches the goal ring. And it's the only way you actually get to hear Omega's D-rank quote. You won't be able to hear it in any other way. But as for what's actually going on the screen, this guy's core is exploded and there still wasn't doing any difference in damage there. This particular section of Wave Ocean is quite open. There's a lot of enemies there, all optional. You don't have to defeat any of them except for a few inside the cave over there. Whoop. There should be enemies. I don't know about that. There they are. There's a buggy. I don't want to use the buggy. There's a lot of enemies. You don't need to defeat any of these guys. They exist solely for points, and as such, because the stage can take a while, I recommend defeating them. Rock launch! But I do recommend defeating all of these enemies because, you know, points are points. If you want the S rank, this is pretty much what you have to do. Because again, you can get an S rank on using just your enemy score. I know there are others here. Here they are. You get onto the higher ledge. Whoop. There's also where you encounter quite a lot of Mephiles monsters. Okay, so these guys take a lot of hits. But you know, this place is open. Some people might find it easy to get lost here. It's really not that hard. Yeah, it's pretty easy to work out where you have to go when you can see a load of rocks around the walls. That makes it pretty obvious on where you have to go, I would say. And I believe there should be some way of getting up there. I think I have to go onto the pier. Yeah, okay, so what you want to do is you want to go onto the pier. Again, Shadow is really slow, and again, you still have to put up with the sound of every single time he moves his skates, which gets very annoying because of his slow speed. But you don't... There's a lot of enemies, but they're all optional. So you can hit the Iblis Bicers and the Stalkers into each other. Why can't I do that with the other enemies? The trailer showed I could. Older beta versions of this game showed I could, so why can't I? Oh, and that's going to happen to you a lot. And it gets very annoying when that does happen. Is that all of them? Are they all dead? Okay. Now you can go through here, of which the rocks loaded in a bit late, and I can just jump right over them. Right, this is a section you have to go to, and now, let's press R1, let's press it again. Those are our Chaos Spears. It's pretty much the Chaos Lance, only it's a little bit stronger. This guy's core is explosive, it's not doing anything. I pressed X there, he didn't do anything. It still stuns them. If the enemy doesn't go down in one hit, it still just stuns them. But at the very least, when it stuns them, it does still take one bit of damage. But again, I don't really find it to be all that useful. There should be a switch somewhere. Maybe it's still through here. Okay, it is. This is where you go. If you were playing as Omega, you would still be here. Yeah, you'd still be hearing that quote right there. See, I'm not warping to the other enemies even when I should be because I have the Chaos Snapper. Because I'm using Chaos Snapper. It isn't working for some reason. Shadow, stop homing attacking the switch. Now that should be the only switch around here. I'm hoping it is. We go over here, the gate should be open. Yes, it is. And once again, this is a loop that you can end up falling off the side, so do be careful when you go through this thing. I do like how Shadow gets his own section of Wave Ocean. Again, one thing that this game does do better than well, Adventure 1 sort of did it. Better with some characters than it was with others. It's like Tails had a nice section of Speed Highway that Sonic didn't go through. Gamma had some sections of Hot Shelter that Amy didn't go through, and so on. But with Sonic Heroes, while the layout did change every now and then between teams, most of the time the teams still went through the same sections of the levels. Now, occasionally Team Chaotix... Oh, what?! Occasionally Team Chaotix had their own unique section. On a few occasions there were times where Team Rose or Team Dark would go through a bit of level that Team Sonic wouldn't. But for the most part the exclusive stuff was all for Team Chaotix, and even then that was only some of the levels. You can destroy these things, they will just come back, as I think did the Iblis golems. You just want to go around the other side of this rock to get to the goal ring. I believe it's this rock. Please be this rock. Please prove me right. Yes, there we go. We have to go the long way around because that gate is closed. And off it goes! Okay, I didn't get my full 50,000 points, so I probably missed quite a number of enemies, but it is very much possible to get the full score. The full 50,000 on just enemies. And it is very possible to skip all of that stuff we just did with Shadow. Very possible. It'll ache your thumb like nothing else, but it is pretty fun to do. Again, although I don't like utilising glitches myself, you know, a glitch should be something... I don't like how people can criticise a game to be glitchy when they themselves are the ones causing the glitch. I mean, yes, still, those glitches shouldn't be there. But you criticise a game for being glitchy when you're the one causing them all. But I do like using some of the things that this game does. I don't really use them for my own benefit, I just do them for a bit of fun. That worked before.
This only proves you were created to stop Shadow, the ultimate life form. Don't tell me you didn't know. You may have been programmed by humanity, but what you did to Shadow in the future, that was your...
What just happened?
Shadow. The one that defeats and seals you in the future is me.
Did I miss something? When was Shadow sealed in the future? Or is that just what we were looking at before fighting Mephiles?
It's so unfair. Shadow's always here to defend the world. Despite that,
eventually, when something or someone is seen as too powerful, it is seen as a threat. And then the world becomes its enemy.
Shadow? Even if you believe everyone in the world will be against you, know that I'll always remain by your side. Remember that.
I will.
As confused as that scene does make me, because I thought that what we were looking at before fighting Mephiles was just Shadow had been sealed there, and that was what we were looking at. He'd just been there the whole time. Apparently not. He was sealed in the future. I don't know how Omega ended up in standby mode. That bit's never explained. But what I really do like about that scene, and yeah, we are doing a town mission. Again, so Shadow has a few. Nothing new though. What I really do like about that scene in particular is it really shows the bond between Shadow, Rouge and Omega. In Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow was certainly quite cautious around Rouge because, you know, she was technically betraying them because she was working for the President. And then in Sonic Heroes, you know, Omega tried to kill Shadow at the beginning, believing him to be one of Eggman's robots due to all the Shadow androids, which, due to the fact that I'm assuming the neutral ending of Shadow the Hedgehog is non-canon, really just disappear after Heroes, I guess. But this scene, it really shows a bond between Team Dark, and I really do like that scene. Apart from the confusion. So that's probably my favourite cutscene in the entire game, actually, along with kicking Silver in the head. Yes, there are citizens here. I never had one of them die, so I'm assuming it's fine. I'm assuming they can take quite a hefty number of hits. Where'd he go? Oh. I didn't even realise he died. Yeah, these guys shoot some weird projectiles. Shadow can homing attack right through them. It's kind of weird. There it is. Sometimes it is best to just wait around for the enemies because they might suddenly appear where you weren't expecting them to. That was partially going through the wall and then it stops. It's like suddenly I realised there was a wall there. This guy's making absolutely no effort to do anything, nor is this one. Come on, guys! Why am I going to do all the work? Lazy bastards. Yeah. That guy deserves a promotion! For he was the only one who was actually making any attempt to stop Shadow there. By the way, even though it looks like Shadow is leaving Rouge and Omega in Wave Ocean, they are still with him. I think we saw them. I think they were with us during that mission. Yeah, they're right there. Well, they stay in their idle animations. But yeah, they do remain with him. Rouge and Omega actually are the only Amigo characters that stay with you. For the final time in the hub world, because technically, if you go back into the episode via episode select, you're in the hub world. You're technically at the part of the story before entering the final stage, because you can replay that stage and the final boss. Rouge and Omega will still be with you. Unfortunately, if you're trying to get anywhere quickly, you have to homing attack, and every now and then Shadow will just homing attack onto Rouge and Omega. It's just you'll get too far ahead, so they'll respawn in closer to you, and they'll respawn in slightly in front of you. And, well, yeah, that's what will end up happening. you'll be slowed down by them. Not much, but it will slow you down a bit. But it is finally time to head into Shadow's final stage. Yes, we're so close. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding on the fact that we're getting close to Shadow's final stage, but I am kidding on the fact that we are so close. Because we are not close. We're not close at all. Thank you. Why do we need a pass to get to the desert? What is the point of tourism? According to Rouge, that's one of the main ways that this town keeps in business in any way. Do you like what Rouge and Omega are doing there? They could be right through me. Shadow was a ghost. He truly did die in Sonic Adventure 2. Anyway, I will see you guys next time where we will go into Shadow's final stage.